we go. Alright, so we've got like four angles altogether to look at. So what we'll do is we'll kind of go through each one at a time. We'll have a little look at each one and kind of pick out a few things to work on. I'll let you know what is good as well, just because sometimes then it means you don't waste time kind of working on something that maybe actually you're doing really good. Alright, we'll just go back to the back of this. So from above, lots of good stuff going on. So both your recoveries, so how you bring like your arm through over the top is all good. So you got a nice high elbow recovery, and then you're going to go in fingertips first here, which again is good. That's what we want to be doing. That looks nice. Same on the other arm. Elbow up, arms nice and high and clear of the water, which is good. And then again, you're going to go in with kind of like a spearing fingertips first, which is good. So that looks all good. That is nice. Head position we'll talk about a bit. It's pretty good. So you got your head in a good position when it's down, when you're kind of got your head down, and then when you turn to breathe, you're also doing a pretty good job of not like really lifting out the water. Quite a lot of people lift it too high when they're kind of at your stage. So that looks all good as well. The only thing we can't really see from here that we would want to see is your feet up on the surface. So we'll see this a bit better underwater, but you're quite clearly like a little bit sinky at the back, and then that's making it harder to go forwards. But we'll see that better underneath the water. So yeah, ideally we'd see your feet up.
Does my head come up too much? Because I know they say like one goggle out.
Yeah,
sort of thing, but...
I would say you're all right. In the list of stuff, it could be lower, but in the list of stuff to work on, I wouldn't worry about it at the moment. You're not like, normally it's bad if like when someone breathes, like this bottom ear and whole head is out the water, and then that's really going to sink your legs. But I think you're not too bad there. I've seen much worse. So yeah, I don't think you need to worry about that. And yeah, it's just me trying to get a bit of a close up on the other stuff. But like I said, hand entry and recovery, everything above the water is fine, which is good.
So I've been working on my breathing a lot this year because I struggled with timing of breathing, but I seem to have got better this year.
Yeah, because you've definitely got a bit of a rhythm going on with your breathing. Right, let's have a look from above. So a few things we look at from above. Mainly, we want to be staying as straight and streamlined as possible. So if you imagine like a boat, like a rowing boat is kind of like this long, like thin shape, if that makes sense. And we want to kind of be replicating that as much as we can when we're swimming. So straight and long is what we're aiming for. First thing we normally look at is someone's hand entry crossing over. Yours isn't. It's in line with your shoulder, which is really good. And same on the other arm. I think this one comes a little bit close to crossing over, but again, I wouldn't worry about it. You're pretty much in line with your shoulder there. So we've got no crossover going on, which is good. Again, another classic thing that like beginners to front crawl tend to do is cross over their arms. We're not doing that. But, and you might have just spied it there, keep an eye on your legs for a bit.
Legs are dreadful.
Yeah, and you're going to see this long rowing boat we were looking for is definitely not happening at the back end. Yeah. So this is probably where your biggest gains are to find, is you're doing like the Isle of Man flag going on here. But yeah, obviously that is not streamlined. Ideally would be kind of like within these lines, and you can see you're well out of them. So that will be making things a lot harder for you in two ways. One, your legs are probably sinking a bit, but also it's just added drag. When someone's feet are up in the right position, they're kind of hidden behind their body, and we're all kind of moving, like I said, a bit like a rowing boat. But yeah, we'll just watch through yours for a bit. You can see they do come together here a bit, but then on your kicks,
it's the kicks.
Yeah, it's whenever you do a kick. And
the thing is, I don't really kick a lot.
You'd almost do better here to not do anything, but then stay together, if that makes sense. So we'll go through some drills in support when we get back in.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, we'll go through some drills when we get back in on like how to tidy this up and kind of get a bit of a kick rhythm going. And it doesn't need to be loads of kick, but it does just need, I mean, the simplest way to put it for you is your ankles need to stay close together. That would be the easy way to kind of think of it as you were swimming along.
All over the place, it's awful.
Yeah. So we call that a scissor kick in swimming. And that would be a good example of it if I ever needed to show someone. Normally, people who do this cross their arms over at the front, but you don't, which is bizarre.
I tend to ignore my legs a lot. I think going back to that's first lesson, well, not a lesson, but you know, the introduction to triathlon. He says just don't use your feet. He says just use your, so it was a buoyancy aid, just move your arms do.
Yeah, see, I'm not a believer of that. No, like, if you watch anyone good at swimming, their leg kick, although it doesn't provide lots of forward propulsion, most like 80% of that's coming from the arms. It does do a lot to balance us and also get our feet up in a nice position. And yeah, if you just kind of don't do anything with your legs, they probably end up doing what yours are doing.
Yeah, as I said, I just thought they were together.
Yeah,
and they weren't doing a lot.
And this is the beauty of video. I didn't need the video to spot it, but it's good for you to see it. Alright, so we'll tick that off as our first thing to work
like
on.
I'm crawling through the water.
Yeah.
It's really not gliding.
We're going to get another angle of it here from under the water.
That's not even worse now.
It probably doesn't look as bad from here, to be fair. But that kind of body position thing that I was talking about, you can see the angle of your body compared to the angle of the lane rope. So we've got a little bit of sinking. So just tidying up that leg kick will help with that for sure. So that'll be one of the things when we get back in, we'll have a little look at. Right, let's move up to the front of the stroke. And we'll have a little look at your arms. And you've got some good stuff going on here. So there's definitely a few nice things. One thing I noticed that you're really good at is pushing all the way down to your thigh. So quite often people finish early and they come out before they should. But you're doing a nice job of pushing all the way to the end of the stroke. And the same on the other side. You can see that that hand is pushing all the way to here, which is good. Let's talk about pulling position a bit. So I want you to watch this arm. This arm, this is your right arm, goes in with good entry, like I said. And then as soon as it's kind of reached out in front, it starts to pull. And then you're pretty much getting quite a good pull position there. So you're like pressing that way, which is good. So that's your right arm. Now we'll watch your left arm a little bit. And I want you to notice the difference. So this one goes in good, the same. But when it gets reached out in front, it has a little bit of a pause, and I'll show you this from above because you'll see it. And also the hand position is not quite as good. So if you look at it here, that's essentially pressing down a little bit. You see the difference there? So it's pressing there, whereas your other hand was kind of pressing there a bit. So what we need to do with that left hand is just get it to like angle a little bit more, so you're pressing water towards your feet rather than towards the bottom of the pool at this moment, basically.
That was one thing I always thought I was doing. I was put, especially on the breathing side, that my arm was down here before this was coming in, and I was going to try. I've been trying to get that sort of
timing. So I'll show you that from above in a minute, because that's one of the next things I'm going to sort of talk about. When people press down with like their hand like this, it normally comes with like a little pause, so it means that your arms aren't quite in time. And when I show you this from above, it'll make sense. In fact, let's go all the way back to the above angle and we'll see it here. So a couple of things. If you watch your right arm, so as this right arm goes in, it reaches out in front, and as this left arm finishes pulling, let's draw this on so we can see it. So as this arm finishes pulling, that arm starts pulling there. See, that's really nice. That's good. So that's what we want. So that means we're always moving ourselves forward. If we have any kind of gap, that means we're going to slow down essentially. And now if you watch this arm, this left arm's going to finish pulling here. Right arm, sorry, finishes pulling. But this one's not really moved yet. You see it's still out in front. Still out in front. And actually, only really when this right arm starts to go in, does the left arm start to pull. So that means you've got a whole big point in your stroke where there's not really any propulsion going on. And then that means two things. One was slowing down a bit, and also probably gives you a bit of chance to sink in the water as well. So we'll just watch it through one more time. So watch. Right arm starts pulling at the right time. When that one finishes, they should cross over just in front of your head. So if we drew like a little line here, and they do, which is good. That's nice. But then on the other side, that left hand's going to stay there a bit. And you can see that the line is not in front with your head. It's kind of like out here.
That's probably my fault watching videos, because there's, I don't know.
You've been watching something where they're trying to tell you to kind of catch up a little bit at the front.
That's why I always thought my right side was the wrong side.
No, so your right side is really good. Yeah, it pulls at the right time and it's
sliding. That one comes to your shoulder, that one should be pulling from, so you're getting that.
Yeah, so as soon as that one's exiting, that one's then starting, and then that gives us that nice flowing one stroke into the other as you go along. Right, let's jump along to where we were. Alright, we're just going to have a little look from in front, because I think there's a couple of things on here. There's two more things. So far we've got your leg kick, and we've got that kind of left arm, how it's starting the pull. Also on the theme of your left arm, we're going to see something else here. You might spot it. It's a bit too open. So we don't want to be tight together in swimming, but we also don't want to be like too wide. If you watch the men's 50 freestyle in the Olympics, they have their hands like this, weirdly. It's good for like super fast swimming, but for our swimming, you just want those fingers a little bit kind of loosely together. This hand again does it pretty good. That's a nice spread there, not too wide, not like tight together either. So yeah, same on that left hand, just come in a little bit. Yeah, it's just a little bit wide. Alright, and the final thing, so there's a lot of stuff on your left arm there that we'll go through, plus your leg kick. And then your third and final thing is a little bit to do with your breathing.
Okay.
And this might help with your body position as well. So when you take a breath in here, that's all good.
Yeah.
And then when we put our head down, ideally we want to be exhaling the whole time our head's in the water. And if you watch there's a lot of breath holding going on here. And then you're going to kind of blast it all out when it's time to breathe again. All that means is if you carry a whole load of air in your lungs here, that lifts your front end up and it will help sink your feet a little bit at the back. So it almost kind of like turns you into you're like really lopsided because there's all that air in the front end. So what you want to do is take that breath in
And stop.
when you're here. Yeah, we want to be exhaling at this point, and then that will help sink your front end down a little bit. It'll also help relax you a little bit, and it'll bring your legs up towards the surface. So yeah, just an earlier exhalation.
That was one of my things that I was struggling with at the beginning. Was I was holding it too long.
Yeah.
And then I thought, no, breathe. And then I think I got better this year.
Yeah. I mean, you've got a good rhythm here, and you can clearly do it for 400 meters. So it's like it's not stopping you being able to swim continuous. But if you start exhaling during, you're doing a little bit there.
I think I'm a bit inconsistent with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not.
Yeah. But the more you can kind of start to get out earlier,
As long as I'm
the
aware
better
of
it will
it,
be
then
for
I'll-
your overall body position. Right, let's save that there.